If you clicked on this video expecting me to tell you that Joel Embiid is going to get traded in the offseason, then just click off, bro. Come on, we do way better basketball analysis on this channel than that. This goes way deeper than just Jimmy Butler and Joel Embiid flirting with each other on social media, which we're going to talk about as well. This goes back about a month ago when Al Horford had this to say about the Philadelphia 76ers. So, to give you context about the situation, the Philadelphia 76ers have been encountering some chemistry issues, and you have to bear in mind that this team was a very intriguing fit from the get-go. It really, if you ask me in the offseason, I said this when Al Horford got signed by the Sixers, I really don't understand the signing. I didn't, because Al Horford, don't get me wrong, is a very skilled big man. But what you also have to understand is Al Horford is 33 years old. He just signed a 4-year, $109 million contract. And the Sixers have done something that has been failing miserably in the NBA recently, and that's establishing some sort of twin towers on their team. You see, the reason why I personally didn't think this worked was you have two stars on the Sixers, and both of their play styles completely contrast from one another. One player is Joel Embiid, who thrives in a half-court offense with his back to the basket, who thrives in the post. And then on the other hand, you have Ben Simmons, who is, with all due respect, very average in the half-court offense, mainly because of his inability to shoot threes. He doesn't even try to take threes. But Ben Simmons at the same time thrives when the ball's being pushed and in transition. We've seen it many times. He's one of the best transition basketball players in the NBA, one of the best playmakers in transition in the entire NBA. So Al Horford had this to say about his fit, and tell me what you guys think about this. This is from about a month ago. This is after they lost to the Miami Heat. And Ben Simmons went ahead and questioned the team's effort and said, we were right there. It starts in the first quarter. We've got to carry the same energy all the way through. We can't wait for the last minute to pick it up. And, you know, that's not a big deal. That's like your typical, okay, we just lost a game. And it seemed fairly harmless, but this is where things get a little interesting. That very Monday, Al Horford, the biggest free agent that the Sixers signed this past offseason, went out and said, I'm out there for the team and I'm doing what I can to help us. But offensively, I'm very limited with the things that I can do, so I can't control that stuff. So all I have to do is make sure I'm there for the team, trying to do everything I can to help us win. Ultimately, we have to rely on Brett Brown to make the decisions, to put us in the position to go out there and play and keep competing. And then Josh Richardson had this to add on about a month ago. He said, I don't think there's enough accountability in our locker room right now. Honestly, I think that we got some new guys who don't want to step on toes, including myself, and I feel like we kind of go play and don't compete as much. There's been games that we have competed and it's been great, but when it's not going good, we gotta hold each other accountable. I think that's where a lot of our problems start. Going forward, we gotta talk to some people about it, and we got to do it. We talk about playing hard every day. We talk about, we break the huddle down with Chip every day, and we got a long way to go before we actually start competing for that. I think our locker room has some growing to do. And for the most part, he's right. But here's the thing that is fairly concerning. First of all, I know this is going to sound really weird. The East is the most competitive that it's been in quite some time. The 76ers are currently behind the Milwaukee Bucks, Toronto Raptors, Boston Celtics, and Miami Heat. And they're currently in 5th place with the Indiana Pacers on their tail to ultimately usurp that position and hop in front of them. But here's the thing, a couple of weeks passed, and last week Al Horford came out and said that the locker room of the Philadelphia 76ers was kind of funky. And this is exactly what he said. This was 6 days ago to be exact. He said there's some stuff going on in our locker room and we'll keep that internal. We all know we need to be better. We need to step it up. And it's a great opportunity to do it tomorrow. And ultimately, the next game they played, they ended up losing. And here's another strange tidbit from Joel Embiid himself. Back in December, Joel Embiid admitted that he was struggling. He hasn't been having fun playing basketball. And he says it goes back to being mature. One of the biggest parts of my game is just having fun. By having fun, it means talking trash, but that part of my game has been cut. So I just need to be myself. But here's the scary thing. After the Sixers lost to the Milwaukee Bucks, 112-101, Joel Embiid pretty much said the same exact thing again. He said, I'm trying to get back to being the fun Joel. smile a little more. The whole season I kind of told myself I was going to be serious. I feel like everybody just looked at it in a way that I'm moody or I do not care. I do care. I want to win, but at the same time, I try to have a different attitude. Obviously, it hasn't been working, so I have to go back to being the fun Joel. So for the most part, you guys could see that things aren't really going so well in the locker room of the Philadelphia 76ers. In the most recent news in terms of Al Horford is Brett Brown had to come out and said that Al Horford might be moved to the bench. And honestly, I don't think that's really a bad idea. This caters to Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid significantly because Al Horford is kind of lost out there in between Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. What is he supposed to do? Clog up the paint for Joel Embiid? Sit back and camp at the three-point line and try to hit open threes? Yeah, he could do that, but that's not why you paid him a 4-year, $109 million contract for. Now we'll get to the meat of the video, and I feel like this is why most of you guys clicked on this video. So Joel Embiid posted onto Instagram a very cryptic post saying that you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. And I'm sure this was more of a reference to his mentality because he's been talking about his persona lately, how he's typically that fun-loving guy. And I feel like that's what he was tweeting about initially. And Jimmy Butler, being Jimmy Butler, his ex-teammate that decided to leave this past offseason, join the Miami Heat and leave the Philadelphia 76ers consciously, commented, "I know a place where villains are welcome." And then Joel Embiid replied, "Damn right, my brother." So this, of course, caused a bunch of the media to overly gas this as Joel Embiid is definitely going to get traded. But you have to bear in mind, Joel Embiid has 3 years and $93 million left on his contract, and he's not going to demand a trade once the trade deadline has passed. But yet, here's the funny part, NBA executives are still beginning to prepare for the possibility that Joel Embiid becomes available on the trade market, and the trade deadline's passed, guys, so I'm not going to be bringing you guys trade updates, but I'm going to tell you what I think is going to happen. There's going to be a multi-level scheme to figure out how to handle the Philadelphia 76ers, and it starts with this Al Horford to the bench move. Who knows? Al Horford could be the Andre Iguodala of the Philadelphia 76ers. It could be what they needed, and it could be the perfect move, and then if it does work out, maybe the Sixers make a deep run, and it results in a deep playoff run. But at the same time, you have to understand that if that fails, the first domino that I think will fall, and the first big change that the Sixers will probably make is they'll fire Brett Brown in the offseason. Brett Brown's been around for a very long time. Like, dude, we're talking about since 2013. This guy's been the coach of the Philadelphia 76ers for a very, very long time. And they kept him around because he's from the Greg Popovich coaching tree. You treat people like that with respect. But if he can't get it done this year, and there's all this chemistry issues, and there's all this talent on the team, he's going to be the first guy to go. Now, once that happens, and if the Sixers happen to still not have any success under the new head coach, if Joel Embiid has 1 to 2 years left on his contract and he still seems unhappy, that's when the Sixers will prepare to potentially trade him. Now, you have to understand, at this point, they're going to have to commit to either Joel Embiid or Ben Simmons. And the question is, who do you want to build your team around? Do you want to build your team around the, by then, 28-year-old big man who is, don't get me wrong, is very talented, somewhat injury prone, who plays a old school brand of basketball? Or would you rather build around the younger player, Ben Simmons, who by next year will be 23 years old, this guy hasn't entered his prime yet, and try to put a bunch of three-point shooters around him and see what he can do when you pretty much build a team around him, similar to the teams that are built around LeBron James? So at the end of the day, I'm going to tell you what you guys should take from this. Don't believe all the smoke the media is giving you. If I honestly, and this is coming from me, don't believe the fact that Joel Embiid is potentially going to get traded. Knowing him, he probably did this to stir up some controversy. Here are the takeaways from this video. Don't buy any trade hype from Joel Embiid. The trade deadline has passed. There's nothing that's going to happen. And if there is something that would happen, it would revolve around something drastic happening in the offseason, meaning the Sixers miss the playoffs. The Sixers are a first-round exit and get swept. That's the circumstances where Joel Embiid would get traded and the Sixers would blow it up completely. But I feel like the first guy that will take the fall for all this is Brett Brown. and I feel like Joel Embiid is a long ways away from being traded. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Maybe you interpreted this differently. Guys, if you watch a lot of my content, but you haven't subscribed yet, please take a moment to subscribe. There's a new TikTok up on my page as well. My TikTok's at TheFlightMike, and there's a brand new upload on microphone if you're an NFL fan. I'm your boy, TheFlightMike, and I'll catch you guys later.